Hello everybody and welcome back to Satisfactory. In the last episode we unlocked the Dimensional Depot. So that's cool. So as far as what we're going to be doing this episode, we are going to probably finally unlock Hypertubes. And we're going to start motor production. Because we're going to need motors for pretty much everything moving forward. Oil processing, jetpacks, probably petroleum power, yep, right there. So that is going to be our main objective for today, and it's probably honestly going to take place in place of this entire factory that we built very early on. I think this was our first factory to make smart plating. So we get to say goodbye to this factory. However, before we tear this down, I've got some major infrastructure issues. Power lines are coming in on this tiny little wire, which is probably fine. But we also don't really have a home for the space elevator, my blueprint hub, as well as the backup power that we have over there, and the main hub. And I kind of want to build something for all of these to be housed in. As I was looking through the motors, I happened to notice that we need steel, which can come from up there, but also probably not, because that seems to be all occupied for everything that we need for the space elevator. So after doing a little bit of contemplation, I think what I'm going to be working on this episode, instead of motors, as much as that would help with progression, I think I want some core infrastructure to be able to advance a little bit better. One of the first things that I want to do, since the Dimensional Depot has almost like a global inventory, there are a couple things that I don't want to ever have to come back and get while building this infrastructure. One of the biggest ones is going to be concrete, because concrete is something that allows me to build foundations, walls, and other such stuff like that. The other one is going to be steel beams, because they're for most of the more aesthetic things. Frame pillars, H-beams, painted beams, beam connectors are concrete, surprisingly. And I also want iron plates connected as well, because I don't want to have to deal with that. Iron plates are one of the most basic materials that you can get. I want all of these inside of the Dimensional Depot. So on that note, I need to go exploring to get those Mercer spheres to be able to build quite a few more Dimensional Depots. And I want to build at least 4 or 5, possibly a little bit more. So I'm going to have to go exploring, get a couple more of those Mercer spheres, and we're going to start building some infrastructure around the area, and probably a bit more of an actual location for the hub, blueprint, and potentially the space elevator. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to build anything that's worthy of the space elevator. At least not yet. So I'm going to go around and collect up some Mercer spheres.
The effigy has no song, only echoes, but it is part of a river. Why does the effigy avoid the windows?
Attention. Your brain's operations are outside typical parameters. Time spent daydreaming will be deducted from your sustenance budget.
Hey! Don't deduct my sustenance budget. I don't have enough sustenance as it is. I think I've only had like 4 pale berries. Rude. Mine. Mine.
Play. Play. Play.
Creepy. Mine. Yoink. You saw nothing, Beanie. Ooh. Nice.
Harvest.
Okay. You're mine now. Bye. Okay, I'm curious how this is gonna play out, because, the sphere's up here, but it looks like the shell's down there.
Consume.
Okay.
Consume.
Okay.
Consume.
I will.
The effigies ripples through our temples, our veins nearly touch. It is shy. Notes shall be taken and played.
From a certain perspective, your brain looks like it is processing language, but there is no auditory data. If you are hearing voices that are not mine, this is no cause for concern. It is a common side effect of extreme pressure and stress.
Wait. I thought you were hearing the voices. Oh, I'm probably just going insane. It's fine. It's fine. That's what happens when you're on a planet alone for so long. Must collect more. More. Give me more. Must consume more. Okay, after a lot of collecting... Well, I say a lot. It wasn't much. I need more. More. Right. So I've got 7 of them now. So we're gonna go ahead and start connecting them to different things like concrete and all the other things I mentioned. Okay, and there we go. So we've got iron plates, concretes, reinforced iron plates, steel beams, steel pipes, wires, and cables. Things that I don't really want to go and get that often, if ever. So this should help that, so that I don't have to ever go and get these things. Wire is kind of a very particular use case, but I'd rather just have it. There's a couple more that I would like to connect onto this, most namely the copper sheets, as well as the encased industrial beams, but we'll get to that when we get to that. In the meantime, however, I think it is about time for us to get hypertubes. It's going to help me moving forward as I build my infrastructure for the future. Let's see if we can get this done here. And I'm going to have to run and grab some steel pipes. And with those steel pipes in hand, let's get this done. Button, press.
Milestone reached. By adding hypertube entrances at both ends of hypertubes, pioneers can achieve two-way travel between locations. They are also % safer than jump pads. You dreamed of moving across factories like valued resources, such as rocks and water, and Fix-It listened to your dreams. We watched them. We took extensive notes. Hypertubes. Because Fix-It makes pioneers' closely monitored dreams come true.
Okay. Cool. That's just a little concerning. Alright, so we got hypertubes now. So I'm gonna start building a bit of an infrastructure. So that is going to take quite some time to do, because I kind of want power and hypertubes all kind of in the same area. So I'm just gonna have to work out something in the blueprint and see if I can't essentially get myself some infrastructure going. Okay, I built something that I'm not terribly disappointed in. I still don't necessarily like it, but I need to start building this infrastructure. So it's got a power line, a power tower on it. It's got a hypertube, and that'll just basically connect all of the hypertubes together. It's got a nice thick-looking base. I quite like that. I'm not a big fan of the power tower sitting up on this structure, but no, honestly, I think that just looks better. Still want to detail that a little bit more, but I mean, it's a blueprint. I can easily just delete it and replace it. So I'm gonna start dotting this around and connecting up the hypertubes. Try and get some transportation going. Okay, we've got a new power line and power infrastructure moving forward, so that's good. I've still got a little bit of work to do on it, but it will be acceptable for now. It isn't something that I'm terribly happy about, but it isn't something that I'm terribly disappointed in either. So I'm gonna count that as a win. Although the hypertubes being on it didn't work out, because hypertubes are much, much shorter in terms of availability to place. So yeah. But my ADHD is getting the best of me, and building the power grid and the main infrastructure of the builds isn't really something that interests me right now. So I am going to go ahead and start trying to work on a bit more of a hub area where I can have the builder, the main hub, a little bit of a trash compactor, all of this stuff kind of just in one general area. And after having looked around a little bit, I'm kind of liking this area right here. I have no idea what I'm going to do for a hub, but I kind of like this area. I believe this is actually the location where we found the drop pod. I'm going to do a little bit of work and see what I can come up with for this area here. Okay, so in this corner of this area, this is where I'm putting the blueprint designer. And having a room designated to the blueprint designer, kind of a large room. This is an 8x8 room, and I know that the blueprint designer has a bigger variant, so I'm probably going to actually have to move it somewhere else, because this area alone is going to be pretty large. I'm thinking I want like a small little garage, because I know that there's a little explorer vehicle that we can have, so I probably want to have that parked up somewhere in this area as well. Even if I don't end up using it, it could be nice for a little bit of an aesthetic to it. So it's quite simple on the inside. We've got the blueprint designer right here, as well as catwalks galore to be able to access pretty much anything that you could need to on the blueprint designer. A little bit of a better view looking down on the blueprint designer. Now this is going to go up as tall, if not taller, than the blueprint designer is itself, simply due to the fact that I like to be able to have full view on all angles of my blueprint designer. It's kind of just chaos in here, but that's okay. Okay. So, all of that for purposes of the blueprint designer. Massive building for one purpose. But this should make it a lot easier for me to design blueprints in the future. As it sits right now, I don't really have enough blueprints, and honestly, I probably could have blueprinted a couple of these things, because I probably will use this stair design again in the future, but I'm also thinking I might end up putting jump pads in the back here, but I haven't decided yet. But now, I have the main building to work on. Okay, here we are at the more or less finished product. I've been at this for several hours, and I'm not even satisfied with this, but I also have other things I gotta do. So this might be a little bit of a shorter episode, but I'm sure that's fine. So we've got our little garage here. I still need to unlock the little corner walls. I also clipped the resource sink through the roof to make it look like there's a little antenna on top. I don't mind it. So I believe there's a garage door I can also pick up. I'm probably going to put in right there. Other than that, there's two doors, one that goes out to the hub area and one that comes inside. Inside, we've got a little trash chute going directly into the resource sink. And right next to it, we've got our equipment workshop. Over here, we've got our awesome shop as well as the MAM. And over here, I've got some miscellaneous storages just to give myself some of that ability, as well as another door out to the hub. Down this corridor is the blueprint area. That's all there really is to it right now. Like I said, I'm not too happy with it, but I've got other things I gotta do today. So, until next time, see you then.